Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Magnetic Soul Podcast. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I have quite a few messages that want to come through in this episode. I don't even know what I'm going to call this, but it's just going to be a few channeled messages that want to come through for whenever you get to this. It's timeless, but I didn't do a video last week or a podcast last week because I was in the middle of launching my course that's finally here. I launched it on 11/11. It's called Intro to Channeling, Activate Your Channel. It's 4 modules, 4 videos, 4 powerful guided meditation, activation, and channeling experiences for you to actually have an experience of what it is to be channeling. It's a step-by-step process. A lot of people have had some really powerful breakthroughs already and are clearly channeling, and they haven't even gotten to module 4 yet. So the amount of feedback I'm getting on this course and the breakthroughs people are having who have either been, down the path of a channel or trying to open up to their gifts or opening up to their gifts, not trying. We're not trying. Also people who are just kind of new to it. It's really powerful. And the meditations, people are having some wild experiences with it. So it's there. The link is in the bio here. I highly recommend joining. It's 111 or 2 monthly payments of $55. So it's all in there. I have payment plans. If there's a payment plan that you need, just let me know because want this to make this as accessible to anyone because everybody is a channel and it is so time for us to open up to our gifts and for everybody to open up to their own unique gifts and abilities, even just to use in your everyday lives. It doesn't mean you have to go off and be a channel, but you can use this in your everyday life to navigate certain situations. You can use it in your business, in your careers. You can use it to channel a book. Their opportunities are endless. So that's for you. That's launched. It's there. It's on demand. You can stop, start. You can do it as long or as short as you want to, and it's all there for you. So I hope that you join us in Activate Your Channel. I will be doing regular live coaching calls and Q&As and channeling experiences for those that are part of the course, and it's lifetime access. So that's all there for you in the links in the show notes. I hope to have you there, and I will get into this episode because there is so much energy running through me, so many messages that want to be shared right now. And I'll just start off this episode or this video, wherever you're watching this. I'll start off by sharing that, if you follow me on Instagram, I shared this kind of joke about how, when people try to lie to you or BS you, but you're literally a psychic and you have a built-in lie detector since a young age in order to survive childhood. I've always had a built-in lie detector. And I know so many of you thought resonated with the post, but kind of all jokes aside, I wanted to go into this message to start off. It's so funny. It's so funny being so intuitive and tapped in and psychic. And I know many of you listening to this are the same. We're all intuitive. And people still try to kind of BS you. And you're like, do you not see? I know what you're doing. And kind of all jokes aside, I think a lot of misunderstandings about me is that I think a lot of people have mistaken kindness for weakness or that oblivious. And, that's just not the case. And I don't know why I'm sharing this with you guys, because obviously some of you probably have been through that too. People sometimes can mistaken kindness as a weakness or some kind, but which is completely the opposite of being true, because, you have no idea what people have been through. And, I know some of you listening to this have likely been, maybe you're highly sensitive, maybe you're empathic, maybe you've been kind to people or your boundaries have been whatever. And people kind of mistaken that as a weakness or poor boundaries or whatever it may be. But it works into a point, and then you can't do you know what I'm trying to say? It works until a point. Your kindness can be taken to a point until you know that it's been taken, or people are trying to pull at your energy or trying to mess around with you, or when you know what's going on. I don't know why I'm sharing this with you guys, but it's obviously for a reason. But for me, since a very young age, even, I didn't grow up thinking I had psychic abilities. That just wasn't in my awareness. I didn't grow up in a household where that was the case. Okay. And, now looking back, now that I've, opened up my gifts, I do this for my work, right? I do see how that I was always intuitive, but I always had to like shut things down, right? But I couldn't really open up to this gifts to the level at which it is now because I was going through a lot and I had to be in survival mode essentially. And through that, I've always, through my upbringing and what I've been through and childhood, I've always had a very powerful lie detector. I've always had a powerful bullshit meter because I've had to in order to survive. So I wanted to share that with you guys because all jokes aside, we might, and this is what, the course might really help you with if you're opening up to your intuition or you want to like develop a deeper trust with it. The course can really help you with that. But, kind of all jokes aside about that, because I know we've all been through that, right? I wanted to share that I was getting this message very clearly for some of you that, and you'll just sit with it with what you will, and it's going to all tie into this whole message. But I was getting the message that some of you may have had certain truths revealed to you. Maybe you've had an intuitive nudge or gut feeling, whatever you want to call it, or an inkling or like an ick, like some kind of icky feeling that something felt off about a situation or maybe a person, or you just know that you had to couldn't be part of it, or, whatever it may be. And you had to really trust that, knowing without knowing why. What I'm getting with that is firstly, you always have to kind of trust that. And of course, we have to navigate our filters. We have to remove our ego, remove our conditions, remove our projections, right? In order to be a clear channel and to really use your gifts, you have to work through the shadow. You have to clear out your own projections and come from a place of divine neutrality. But that feeling when you get like an ick, something feels off, maybe you've been in situations, I know I've been growing up, when you're like, everybody's like, well, this person's so great. And you're like, I'm not, something feels off. Or, I'm not saying everybody's off. It just might not be a vibrational match to you. But say you got a hit, you got an intuitive nudge about something to either do something or not do something, whatever it may be. Something felt off, or maybe something felt really aligned and you haven't fully seen the proof of it yet. What I was getting is that some of you are going to get that proof. So I really feel like this message is tied to maybe like a couple months ago, something you've been through. I don't want to tie this to timeframes by saying a date, but maybe over the past couple months or even before that, you just had this like nudge about something and it didn't make sense. And it was maybe hard to follow that. Maybe you had some kind of investment tied in it, whatever it may be, you had to follow it, and you did. We don't always get proof. Okay. We're not always going to get proof about what that is. But I do feel like some of you are about to, or in the process of receiving a lot of clarity around certain situations. Like you might get the truth revealed to you. You might get that thing like revealed to you. What's happening in this new paradigm that we're stepping into is that anything inauthentic, anything that is somewhat off will fall through. It's just not going to work out, right? Anything inauthentic, anything that is like shiny object, whatever it may be, anything that's not authentic is going to crumble at some point, because that is just not the way we're going in this new paradigm. And a lot of you are listening to this because you're part of this new paradigm and you're stepping into this new paradigm. So if you've ever had concerns about like, well, that person got away with it, or this person, whatever it may be, firstly, we have to let that go. But karma will always be returned. And there's a lot of karmic things balancing out. And it's just to know that like, I really received the strong message that some of you might receive that clarity. You might have that situation, or something might show to you, or maybe you hear about it, whatever it may be. And however it comes through for you, you might actually get that clarity that gives you that proof as to why. Now, we don't always get that proof, but we do have to follow that feeling, right? It's really important now more than ever. Or you might just get a deeper trust leading to like this deep embodiment of that knowing, where you just like, you don't even need to have the proof. You could just completely walk away from it, but you might actually have this powerful shift within yourself that leads to a deeper trust and embodiment. Because the more that you start to follow those inklings or that nudges of to do something or to not do something, even if it's hard, even if it feels so freaking tempting, the more that you do that, the more that you're going to have that deeper trust with your intuition. deeper trust within yourself that you're going to be able to really discern and trust with like, okay, I got to move in this direction or I got to move away from this direction, whatever it may be. You're going to maybe get that proof, or it's going to lead to a deeper embodiment of that. So it's going to make it easier. Now, this is kind of funny because I was realizing that, we're in the process of moving, and I realized that our move that we did recently before that, it was so challenging. It was so hard. I learned so many lessons around this move, around places and all the things. And I feel like I went through the ringer of that to now be in this place where I can be really efficient with the trust it takes to be efficient in knowing what is and what isn't for you, even if it's hard, even if it's very tempting. I've become very efficient at it. So now I have the skills to work with, I read people's homes all the time, right? I read people, I've helped people find their homes, move, and in their everyday lives. But, when it comes to yourself, sometimes that can be tricky because you're like, there's an attachment, and I can see that I've had to walk a path. I've had to move through things so that I can better help and understand a wide variety of people, right? So, I've moved through a lot of stuff in many different areas of my life to, you go through it the hard way once in whatever way it is. I'm not just talking about move. There's many things that I've been through that I've done the hard way. I've been through the lessons. I've been through the ringer. Now I'm in a place where I'm a lot more efficient. I'm a lot more skilled and I don't need to travel the hard way anymore. I learned from that experience, and now I'm a lot more efficient in decision making or following, channeling information, following that nudge of where I'm meant to be and what I'm meant to do. You go through things once, even with the podcast, whatever it is, when you're traveling a path once, you learn it maybe the hard way once, or maybe you don't, maybe you have someone to help you to like guide you away from, navigating the most efficient path. But sometimes you do go through that thing the hard way. And this can be taken in whatever way it is, because it tests you, because you learn so much. You learn the method is in that process, right? That's the method that you're going to teach. You're going to have this framework for how to do it in the future, right? Because you're going to need these skills in the future. A lot of you are leaders. And so you walk the path first, you pave the path, you clear the path first. And what I will say about that path clearing process is that there are angels, there are guides, there are ancestors that are actually in front of you. There's source consciousness that's actually in front of you, paving that path for you. Okay. I'm sharing this with you because a lot of you are the ones that are building this new paradigm, right? You're the ones that are paving the new path. There's no one you can look around beside you and be like, oh, is this the way? Is that the way? Is this how you do it? There might be little keys and codes and people, but it's not necessarily the way. But what you need to know is that you have so much divine protection. So if you can come at that first and foremost, when you have that information, that truth, that knowing something's been revealed to you and you don't know why, you don't understand, you just have a feeling or you knowing, whatever way it comes to you, you have to understand that even though it might be difficult to either walk away from something or walk towards something, whatever it may be, you have to understand how divinely protected you are in that process. And when you can come back to that and just dissolve everything else around you, dissolve the pulls, the people pulling at your field, the people wanting answer, whatever it may be that is kind of getting in the way of you being in that clear knowing. And this is going to get further into this message because it's all kind of weaving together. It's really fun, kind of fun. But like the more that you first solidify, you have to tune out the external noise and really sit in your field and in your channel and sit in that energy, sit in the discomfort of whatever it may be, and understand and know and feel into how deeply guided and protected you are on your path. And when you come to that place, when you feel, okay, I have a presence around me, I have a divine presence around me, I have my higher self, I've got source consciousness, God, whatever you want to call it, angels, God consciousness. When I know that I'm there, I know how protected I am in this path. So that's first and foremost, okay? And then it makes it kind of easier. But the more that you kind of follow that nudge, the knowing without knowing why, the more that you can use it a lot quicker. You become more efficient in it. So I do feel like some of you are going to get that truth revealed to you. Something's going to come to you. Something's going to come to light, whatever it may be. I feel like you're going to have that truth. Um, while saying that, you might not always get the proof. There has been this message coming through quite a bit lately where you might be tested in what you know to be true. You might be tested in what has been revealed to you to see if you can stay strong on this path. So that's where the temptations, that's where the tests come in. Say you get a knowing, you get a feeling um, about something. Sometimes you're on the path and you're like tested in what you know to be true. You might be tempted by something, you might be tested by something, and it's really this moment to go, okay, I'm going to sit in this, I'm going to sit in the discomfort of this, but I'm going to trust in what I know to be true. I'm going to trust in what was revealed to me in whatever way that is. So that is the test phase. That is the test phase of I don't even know what to call it. We could call it the test phase, we could call it the temptation phase. But, you know, I'll just give you an example. Like, say you had a realization over the past few months that there was a relationship, a friendship, whatever it may be, that felt very pulling. It was very, uh, maybe it was a pulling energy. Maybe it was unreciprocated in some way. And you felt like, okay, I need to kind of draw my energy back from this situation. And through that, you have this really strong feeling in that moment. And in that moment is like being so true to yourself. You're staying true to you. You're being true to yourself. You're walking away from situations that for some reason something doesn't feel right. Um, because you've attracted those maybe because of low self-worth, right? But in this process, you've left that phase and you've left that old energy and you're in this in-between phase where you haven't quite found the people yet, or maybe some people are starting to come in who match this new frequency, but you're kind of in this in-between phase. In this phase, what can sometimes happen, because it does feel when you're in that in-between, when you're not where you were, you're not quite where you were, the new people the evidence hasn't appeared to you. So maybe you left a job, maybe you left a situation, whatever it may be. When you're in this in-between and you're kind of like, okay, the old's gone, the new hasn't quite landed yet, you can be in this place where it can feel deeply uncomfortable. It can feel a lot of discomfort. It feels like old foundations are cracking. You don't feel quite rooted in the new yet. And that is the most sensitive period. And I've been talking about the sensitive period, but it can be a very sensitive feeling because it's in a very vulnerable place, because you might be tested in like, okay, well, this person's reaching out to me now, or this situation's reaching out. There's a temptation of some kind. And it's like, okay, well, I could hang out with this person. I could do this. I'm free. Technically, I'm free. I've got nothing going on. I could take this opportunity. I could go hang out with this person who I know I received this knowing of whatever it is. I could do that because I don't have really anything going on. It's like, do you go back to an old situation, or do I stay true to what I know to be true? And that's where the test. If you can ride the wave of that test and hold steady, hold strong in that field, and that's where you might want to do some energy clearing, cutting some cords. I do have an energy clearing meditation, but that's where you might want to really work on clearing your energy and also trying to stabilize this new frequency that's coming in, this new energy, this new identity. So it's choosing from that future self and not from the past self, and really staying strong during that test phase, because that is the most tempting place where you might go, oh, I should just go back, or I'm available, or maybe I should just, because the new hasn't come in. You haven't gotten the proof yet of what's coming, right? And it's like, do I stay true to what I know to be true, or what was revealed to me recently about these people, about what I've been attracting into my life from that old energy, from that place of maybe you weren't feeling worthy, or maybe you weren't feeling confident. It was like an old karmic experience. Or do I stay true to this? Do I stay strong during this phase? Because it can feel so tempting. It can feel so tempting to say yes. It can feel very tempting when you're in the testing. And oh my gosh, it's so hard sometimes, especially if you're empathic, especially if you had that like bleeding heart energy and you're like, you have to really regroup and stay strong and rooted to yourself when those tests come in. And that is where it can be so uncomfortable because you're not fully in the new. And there might be a bit of loneliness that happens before the new comes in, right? And that's sort of the vulnerable, uncomfortable feeling where the shoulds. Should I? Should, that's usually a condition of some kind. So I wanted to share that with you all because it can be really challenging when you are in that phase where you're like, okay, this was revealed to me. This is old. I have this pulling energy. This something feels off here. I don't have the proof. I also don't have whatever coming in, or this isn't fully here yet. I can feel it. It's there. It's almost there. The new foundations haven't really fully landed. You haven't really integrated. That's the test phase. Okay. So that is something that you have to like work with to sometimes it does feel like you constantly have to say no, 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 say no, 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 no. And that's when you'll receive your magnetic yes. So that is sort of the test phase. That's the temptation. It's the magnetic no's for the magnetic yes to come through. And you might get a lot of no's. And before that, you might have to really stay strong. You might fall, you might get back up, whatever it may be. But know that if you do get tempted, it might be short-lived. If it's, it might be short-lived. But you have to sometimes say no before you can get to that magnetic yes. And so that's just something to like sit with. And I'm sharing that with you because it is so hard. It is so hard when you know you're being tested and you know it's a test. Sometimes you might not notice, maybe it comes as disguised. It kind of feels tempting. But you really have to stay true to this new self and where you're going, even if you don't have the thing there, even if you don't have the proof, even if you're really in a lot of unknown, you have to stay true to that feeling and that knowing of where you're going, even if you don't have proof, even if you don't have that thing. Something really interesting that's happening. And I've noticed it actually when I've tapped in collectively, when I've tapped in for clients over the past few months. And for myself, actually, this came through really strongly recently. I was tapping in and I was like, I was looking into a timeline that I'm on and collectively that we're on. So it feels collective. And I've also seen this in clients who feel really uncomfortable and they come to me and they're like, oh, I don't like, it's maybe a leap or something, everybody's so different. So I can't speak to everybody, but let's just say there's a leap involved or you're in this process that feels kind of uncomfortable because you just like don't really want to have to do it or go through it, whatever it may be. But the leap feels scary of some kind, maybe. Really fascinating. The soul is actually so pumped. The soul is so excited. I actually tapped into something for myself. It was very subtle. It was not like a big thing, but it was just like I was tapping into a timeline about something for myself. And I'm uncomfortable. I don't really want to have to like, whatever. It's nothing to do with what I was previously talking about. It's like something so silly. But I was just like, oh, this just feels like annoying. It feels like it's in the way. And so I was tapping into this timeline and I was like, whoa, my soul's actually excited. Holy, like this feels really fun. And I've been really seeing that with a lot of people is like, whoa, you're on this like really quick, exhilarating fun. You're like, your soul's so pumped. Your soul's so excited. Like, let's get you excited here because like, whoa, this is like right in front of you. And so it's really fascinating because I've seen this with people who are like edging on taking a leap of some kind. And I'm like, whoa, 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 you got to get excited. Don't come from a place of discomfort because your soul is excited. Your soul's pumped. Like your soul's like, yes, finally you're here. Like, finally I can work with you. Like, this is the truth. This is the true path that you're going on. And so you might feel like a little discomfort or whatever it may be, but like, don't let that discomfort override because your soul is pumped. And so where you're going, if you can really tap into that energy, you might actually notice that it's actually not scary. It's not like challenging. It's actually very exciting where you're going, but you're kind of going into old loops about things. And so, a lot of people I've seen who are making leaps of some kind or like considering a leap of some kind, it's like, oh my gosh, your soul's pumped. Don't get like, this is not a discomfort. Like, this is good. Like, go for it. Because, I know that your human's a little uncomfortable with maybe you're feeling challenged at the moment, but like, whoa, your soul's pumped. Your soul's excited. Our souls are excited about where we're going. So I do want to share that with you right now. Another thing I want to share is that there's, a lot of old layers that are coming off to reveal the true soul light, the true soul frequency. And so I feel like a lot of you have been just peeling off these old layers, releasing these old layers to prepare for this expansion. It feels like 3-day transformations, like there's really quick energy with this, but these old layers are coming off to reveal the true light, to reveal your soul. It's like your magnetism is coming alive. What's been happening is that there's like these subtle moments. They feel very subtle, or maybe something is triggered in a reality, not like deeply triggered, but just something is invoked in like your reality of some kind that triggers a memory or an experience that has this pivotal realization for you that is leading to massive breakthroughs. Okay. So breakthroughs are happening very subtly, like huge breakthroughs. So it felt like there's really deep insights that are coming forward, and these subtle yet profound shifts or realizations that are leading to massive breakthroughs. So it does feel like it's very subtle. It just it's like a layer comes off and it's subtle, or this memory or this knowing that actually is creating massive healing, like quantum healing. And so just to notice, layers coming off. And right now, what I've been seeing is like these quick 3-day transformations, week-long transformations, where these old layers, like they show me like these layers are coming off, like peeling off, layers of yourself are peeling off to reveal this like true soul's light. But when these layers come off, I had a client being like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know why this is happening. And the message was, it's very, and I feel like this is collective, but like this is coming up for you to recognize, to see, because where you're going, this cannot come with you. This energy, this feeling, this fear, whatever it may be for you, where you are going, this cannot come with you. And you are right there. Okay. And so I do feel like there's all these deep insights, this deep realizations, or maybe something in your awareness. Like the world is really our oracle. So maybe you have a knowing right in front of you, or you see something that triggers a memory of something, and you get this pivotal realization that leads to a massive clearing, a massive breakthrough, without going into the depths of it so intensely. So I wanted to share that because there's a lot of things that are like these dots are connecting. And there's really these deep knowings, these deep realizations that lead to like huge, massive results. And they happen very quickly. It's like a very quick, subtle shift. So you have to kind of be very mindful and aware of these subtle, I just see these like layers coming up to be cleared away. And, with that energy of where this going, this can't come with you, why it's coming up. And what I was kind of seeing for a client and what I've been kind of seeing collectively is that you're not to attach or create a story as to what this is or what's coming up for you. So it doesn't always make sense to the human, but it's like a layer that's coming up. And what's happening is that it's kind of getting caught in the translation and trying to dissect what it is, trying to assign meaning to things that don't need to have meaning assigned to it. So, it's like it comes up and it's there because it's being released. But what's happening is that the human's trying to figure it out. The human's trying to understand and connect the dots of what it all means when you're actually not meant to connect the full dots. It's just, this is a different message from what was previous, but it's like, don't try to figure out what this is that's coming up for you. If there's like an uncomfortable feeling or an emotion, don't try to attach or associate meaning to it, because it's actually an energy that might not be yours, that just is being unlocked and it's being moved through because this soul light is coming through, and where you're going, this energy cannot remain in your field of where you're going. So don't try to figure it out or sort it out. It's about being unattached right now. Right now, the more that you can be a little bit more unattached to things, the more that things can kind of move out really quickly, the more that things can happen very quickly. Because there is a higher streaming energy that is coming forward and it wants to flow. And there's like a new amount of information. There's a new amount of light that has been integrated in you, a new amount of information that you can hold. Yeah, don't stop yourself. Don't try to figure it out. It's just you can hold more, you can experience more. And what may have been true in the past, may have been part of your experience, is no longer true. Okay. There's new rules, there's new situations right now, but there are a lot of subtle yet profound shifts happening right now. But you're not to be tied down or attached to what things mean or what, don't get over in the processing part of it. It's just let things be moved through you, because I feel like there's this massive transformation where, like, even in 3 days from now, like whenever you're listening to this, you might even like be in a different place where you just don't want to be tied down or attached to things right now. So we can't go off old information. We can't go off the old anymore. We're really stepping in and anchoring into the new. So what maybe has been true in the past doesn't mean true for you now. You're really stepping into a new portal, a new energy of yourself. New alignment is stepping in. This new portal is opening for you, and you are crossing that bridge into the new. So when you're in the process of crossing that bridge, it can feel very tempting, right? You have the old right behind you. The new hasn't fully landed or been tangible, but you have to really trust in that vision and where you're going and what has been revealed to you, because you might start to get some proof around that. Or you might have a friend reach out to you and tell you about this, whatever. It might come in many different forms, but you might not always get proof. But what's happening is, there's a lot of new foundations that are beginning to really lock into place. Like I see this like energy shift. You're like a moment away from this like thing locking into place, which creates a quick and instant shift. So when things shift, it's quick, it's instant, and things can happen really quickly. There's a very dynamic, quick energy that a lot of you are stepping into. It does feel like an acceleration on your soul's path. And the way that in which you're being asked to work is going to be a bit quicker. You're going to have to like flow with things a little bit differently than how it has gone through in the past. So when you're being called to rest, you got to rest. You got to take that seriously. And when you're being called to flow, you got to flow. Because the energy is opening up with this new portal. So I feel like you've been taking a lot of steps. You've been tested, maybe. You've been going through this, and the universe is coming forward now and is being like, hey, you've been taking the steps, now I'm going to deliver. You're finally in this place where I can really work with you, and I'm going to deliver some quick results. Every little drop has created this ocean. Every little thing has created, every little magnetic no has created the magnetic yes. And I feel like a lot of you are having these deep soul gifts, these deep remembrances coming through at a really quick quantum rate. And this memory of like, oh, you've done this before. You've been this person before. And that is where this new sense of confidence is going to come from within yourself. Is like, it may feel new to you, but it is not new to your soul. And you've been preparing your energy, you've been preparing your field for this new level that you're stepping into. And so I do feel like there's an unlocking, there's a remembrance, this feeling of like, okay, I've done this before, this memories, I've done this before. This may be new to you, but it's not new to your soul. And that is where this confidence can come from. There's a lot of magic in the air, but we have to be really keep thoughts clear and focused in this moment. Really requires a lot of mastery and focus. Okay. The energy can be quite quick and dynamic right now. The way in which things can come and land can be really quick. You might even have this feeling like something's happening, but you fully don't know. And the way in which this is happening, or what's really happening to the magnitude of what it is to your soul, is kind of beyond your human comprehension. There's a lot of new streams of energy, new flows of energy. And some of you this is going to make sense. Some of you have to like feel into how this feels towards your life. Maybe new streams could also be like new opportunities, infinite possibilities. New streams of energy. A lot of you are channeling new energy. So sit with that, what you will. Some of this will land on a soul level, so you might get this feeling, but it's not always to be comprehended of what is taking place, the transformation by your human mind, like, that sorting out, trying to figure it all out. But the way it can be felt and received is energetically first, which quickly can come into the physical. So what has not maybe been possible in the past is actually becoming quite possible. So you've been really preparing, like all these old layers have been releasing. You've been going on this path. You've been really preparing, and every experience that you have been through has really prepared you to step into this, to be all that you can be. This true unveiling of your soul's unique light and frequency, and the path that you're on is opening up. So you've been really preparing for this time. And every experience has really brought you to this place. But there is a new potency towards you and what you're doing. And so I feel like, you know, when you're in this process of like, what may have been true in the past isn't true anymore. And a lot of you have really stuck true to those tests and those temptations that have come. And you're like, right, the gold is right there. Some people search high and low to try to discover the gold that's always been there. It's always been within you. It's always been inside of you. It's been these layers that have been had to clear out, this density that had to clear out in order to reveal the gold that has always been there. Many of you have been on this path, this weaving path of trying to find yourself, trying to find the path, the it in other people. You've been searching high and low. You've been traveling the world, trying to figure it all out. You've been looking for that key in other people, but that key is really in your hands. It's always been there for you to discover that within yourself, for you to discover that gold that has always been there. It is within you. It is not found within other people. You've been searching high and low, but now the way has been cleared for you to discover that key, the information, what you've been looking for, the gold, the manifestation is always within you. It's right there. You don't need to travel high and low to discover your purpose. It's already part of you. It's within you, waiting for you to discover that is there within you. On a very 3D tangible level, you don't need to take course after course, thing after thing to finally feel ready. You have to discover that you are ready. And for some of you, that means sharing your gifts, sharing whatever it is that you want to do. And for some of you, that deep readiness is this understanding that the teacher is now ready to appear. So some of you have been waiting for the true teacher to appear. And some of you have been walking this path of mastery. And now that student is now becoming the teacher. The student is becoming the master. And you'll never fully feel ready, but you are ready. So just take a deep breath. I just broke into spontaneous channeling as it happens. But that is really fascinating. I actually never really looked at things. I'm going to have to listen to that transmission, but it was really interesting. This message that they wanted to convey is that some of you have been searching all over, trying to figure it out. And in this deep knowing of being true to yourself, of this deep knowing of like, it's already there within you, that is when the frequency match for like the right person to come in, the right teacher, the right experience to come in, that's going to click. Or that whatever it may be, that's going to click. And for some of you, you've been walking this path. You've been taking course after course, doing thing after thing, only to discover that it's already there inside of you and you're already ready. And so there's different areas you can see that, but you are the master that is ready to teach. You're ready to do. So some of you, I've seen this countless times where you take millions of courses. Maybe after this, I'll be ready. Maybe after this thing, I'll be ready. Maybe after I do this, maybe I have to go on that trip or this thing, I'll finally feel ready. It's like, no. You are ready. You're ready right now. And in fact, you taking action is actually going to weave together the manual, the program, the thing that you're meant to do, the gifts, the unique way that you're meant to do it in whatever capacity you're doing it is through the doing. The doing is where it weaves its way together. It's where that next step is. So sometimes you got to get in there and you got to do the thing. You got to start to play around in order for the method to be revealed to you, your own unique way. And likely that unique way is going to be the way that is how it's going to be delivered to the world, what you're going to be teaching. So a lot of message in this, but I do feel like there's a lot of quick decisions, undeniable pulls, deep knowing. Even if it doesn't fully click yet or clear, you are stepping into a higher, faster timeline and you're stepping into your divine destiny. So I feel like you're really stepping into the bridge into the new. And you might have this moment right now where you're in this in between where you go, okay, I'm going to release this old layer. I'm not going to carry this with me because where you're going, this energy, this frequency can't come with you. Or this person, this thing can't come in from the old energy and energy muck that is there. You have to clear out the old energy associated with this thing in order for this thing to come through at a higher, faster frequency or more aligned frequency to the new you. So, time to drop the heavy weight. It's time to ride this higher stream of energy. And I feel like a lot of you are going through some really quick transformations right now. So, you might not always get the proof, but you have to trust in that inner knowing. And the more that you do that, you will be guided to the right place. And they just want to convey a message that you will recognize, and it will become easier, just your unique way of tuning into information and dabbling in for information. You will discover that, and that unique method, right, is in the process. And sometimes we have to go through it the hard way in order to discover, oh, okay, I can trust this now. I know the way. This is familiar. And so I feel like that is like where you're going, and we don't always have the proof, but you do have to trust that right now. Um, yeah. So trust that inner compass. And if you would like a way to discover your own unique way, if you are looking for a way to really learn and hone in on your intuition, join Activate Your Channel. It's self-paced, and it's really helpful in discovering your own unique way of how to do it. So I provide the framework, all the information, but it's about you discovering your own unique way and practicing. Practicing is the biggest thing. I practiced for years, not even practice. I channeled for years for myself. I practiced for years before I even did any energy healing on anyone, before I read anyone, before I channeled for anyone. I practiced. And that is where some people might fall off, because you have to keep riding that wave with anything in life. You just have to keep going when you know it's true for you. And this is true for everybody. Everybody needs to develop their own intuition and gifts in a unique way. And yeah, so I hope that you guys enjoyed this episode. There's a lot of information in this. Just all wanted to come through. I actually have a lot of content that needs to be shared right now. So I will speak to you guys in the next episode. I would love it if you are doing Activate Your Channel. If you could send me a review, if you share how it's going for you, I'd love to hear. And to help grow this podcast and grow this YouTube channel, if you could leave a comment, if you could share with a friend, like it, all that really helps to grow this podcast, and I appreciate it. So I'll speak to you guys in the next episode, in the next video. Have a great day.